Anything else from the review that we want to know about here?
Just, I mean, the cameras. Let's
talk about the camera. You know, I've had great images. I think I feel very good about the quality of the images. And of course, we got Chris Marquardt here. Have you been playing with the new 6S?
Well, I get a 6S, and I'm completely happy with the camera. I've heard that the 6S Plus is even better in its optical stabilization.
Yeah.
But from what I've done, and I've tested video, I mean the video stabilization in the 6S is so aggressive now that it's almost it's over that point where it feels good to me. I think I want it to be a bit more shaky.
Does it feel a little kind of almost
Can you play the video,
artificial? Yeah, a bit like you're walking through molasses. I want that a bit more shake. Actually, I want a way to switch it back to dial it back just slightly.
Do you have a video on iMore's site that we can show? Yeah,
if you go to the camera section, there's a picture of Georgia, and you can click that, and it'll play the video of iPhone 6 Plus versus iPhone 6S Plus video stabilization. So it's not very long, but it's...
Is the optical image stabilization that much better than the one on the 6S?
Well, you'll see on the video. It's not that it's better. It's just incredibly smooth. It's less artificial, I think.
Okay, that's what I was wondering about. Not as artificial.
Here's Georgia Dow. So the left is the 6 Plus, and the right is the 6S Plus. Yeah, that's a significant difference.
Yeah,
significant difference there.
But when you shot that, you didn't really make an effort to hold it still, right?
I just picked it up and walked.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
there was some footage that...
So now just imagine that with a gimbal of some sort, like one of these little digital things that'll be...
I don't need a gimbal anymore. I bought a gimbal. I don't need a gimbal anymore. And I actually did go out, and I forgot to bring it today. Showed it yesterday on iOS Today. But Shure now makes a Lightning microphone, the SM88,
seen that
is unbelievable. It's got 2 capsules, condenser capsules. You can rotate it, and then you can set it in the settings on the phone. You can tell it how you want. You want one rear facing, one forward facing. Do you want cardioid? Do you want omnidirectional? And the quality is superb. This is now, I think, this is a filmmaking device. I mean, this is really remarkable. With a good.
Did you see the story today about the Swiss television studio that switched to iPhones?
Yeah, the French-Swiss studio who I think laid off their camera people. Now they gave the reporters
that's sad.
Selfie sticks and iPhones, and now they are doing it all themselves.
That's very sad. I've been very happy. The low light performance. This is again of the 6S Plus has been great. Lots of detail. Feels fairly refined. This is a low light picture, and I took your advice, Rene, and I'll repeat it for those who don't know. For low light, turn off live photos. You're going to get a better picture, right, Rene?
Yeah, I mean, because it's not capturing video at the same time or it's not capturing a whole bunch of frames at once. It's just concentrating on that one frame.
Yeah.
I was also finding at the event today that it was focusing a lot faster once I turned off live pictures. Just I've only been using it as a camera for the past 3 or 4 days, but I'm already trying to figure out, is it worth to keep live pictures turned off unless you think that there's a good reason to have it turned on?
Yeah.
Because it's not the first time that... Also, now that I'm looking at all the pictures I've been taking over the past 3 or 4 days, very few of them are actually enhanced by live picture. Maybe
it's such a short thing. Yeah.
Yeah, well, also because there has to be stuff happening in order for it to be interesting. Otherwise, it's more like, here's a few seconds of me stabilizing the camera before I actually take the picture.
Yeah, I realize I kind of a utility thing that I do is to take pictures of anybody who gives me a business card. I take a picture because I lose the cards almost immediately, and I realized it took me a little while to register that. Oh, right, I have these little live photos of me taking pictures.
Yeah, just shaky cam photos. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. But the quality seems to be very. These are all broad daylight pictures. I was at the Getty Museum on Friday, and so I took a lot of images. But I think some of the images I got, I feel are as good as an image I might have taken with a DSLR. I mean, I'm very happy with some of the quality.
In full light, that is amazing what comes out there.
Yeah.
Well, and at least in a future update, I think in 9.1, apparently they're going to fix the take the camera down, show the taking the camera down after the live video.
Yeah, I have a lot of those.
You have to relearn. You have to relearn.
Way too many of those. So this is a picture I took illicitly, as it turned out. I took it, and then it was told by the guard, "You're not." And the Getty is nice because you can take pictures of the paintings, except some paintings apparently you can't.
You can print that and sell it now.
This is a Picasso I've never seen. It's a apparently very rare Picasso. It was in a private collection. So this is inside and not perfect light, although the Getty is a very light museum. But I feel like you can see the brushstrokes, you can see the detail in ways just remarkable, frankly.
To Chris's point, the thing with the live photos that I think confuses people is they treat it like a tiny video where you press the button and then you expect to get 3 seconds, where it's really you press the button and you get 1.5 before and 1.5 after. So you just have to mentally fix that idea that you're taking a still photo that later will happen to animate, and then you'll get much better results.
What I found a bit disappointing with the live pictures is that in the keynote, they showed them quite fluid. And
they're not always,
are they? In fact, they're like 10 to 12 frames a second. I think
they can be a little
up to
jerky.
15 max.
That was a bit of a letdown, I think.
Yeah. Here's a very a tough picture because it's bright sky. I mean, you might have used a polarizer graduated filter on this.
But you know that Apple does all sorts of processing now, including detecting what type of stuff is in the picture. So they will now treat the sky different from the grass, for example.
There's one of those
them look just
of putting the camera down after I shoot the live shot.
Yeah.
I got a lot of those. I do turn it off now, and I think turn it on when you think you're going to want it. There's some things that lend themselves to it. But yeah, this is, and I presume I have auto HDR turned on. I don't know if this has the HDR
I think
on it or
it'll
not.
show you. It should show you.
It should, shouldn't it, somewhere?
Yeah, I wish it would indicate live photo as well. It only does that on the share sheet.
If you hover over it. No. If you remove the lower third, you can see.
Oh, and then if you hover, it'll
right down.
Oh, yeah,
if you hover
on the Mac, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes. This is on El Capitan. Of course, you have to have El Capitan on a Macintosh. I'm very happy. There's certainly the daylight imagery quality is superb.
And like Andy was saying, week in and week out, both with the 4K and the 12 megapixels, it lets you crop and and do all sorts of other things to that image if you don't need all of those pixels.
Yeah.
I find myself switching between the live pictures and the non-live pictures frequently, actually, because when I shoot a picture of a price tag of a receipt or something, I'm not going to need the live picture. But then if I'm among people, I kind of want that. I wish they had on the Force Touch, they had a button that says with live pictures and without live pictures.
Yeah.
To what Rene was saying, I was using the digital zoom in front of the New York Public Library yesterday, and noticed something that when you use the digital zoom on the new 12 megapixel sensor, not only do you get more detail, but it will, of course, try to upsample the image. So you wind up with a 12 megapixel image, and sometimes it looks a lot better. Oftentimes, it gives you sort of a slightly watercolor sort of effect that you may or may not like. But it's certainly better than what you got with the digital zoom on the iPhone 6 Plus. I have both the 6 Plus and the 6S Plus with me here in this trip.
I put this to the extreme on the 6S.
Holy cow, here's a zoom.
This is San Diego daylight. The moon is out. I have zoomed in all the way on live view and then cropped the picture as far as it could go.
You can't get much worse than that.
There's not much detail left in that one, but it kind of still shows you that you can get quite a lot out of the camera, even with digital zoom. Now the moon, there's no point in trying to even do that with a smartphone unless you have like a telescope in front of it. But it's a nice little experiment, at least.
Here's an example of the kind of disappointing frame rate on the live photo. Had I known this, I probably should have shot this as a video. I wanted to capture the bubbles in the champagne going up, and you can see that the frame rate is a little jerky. So a video, you don't consider a live photo a replacement for a video,
I wonder why. I wonder why during the keynote and in the marketing materials they showed a faster frame rate, because I think that's
pretty smooth.
Yeah, but that's not really Apple. They're usually quite honest in their advertising with showing the speed of how fast the animations are on the screens, and that one is one of those things that.
Is it possible, Rene, that the camera does different frame rates depending on?
Yeah, well, they say up to 15 frames per second. So it is possible, depending on what else the phone is doing at the time, either when it's capturing it or playing it back, that it'll vary.
It could also have something to do with how much light you have, and shooting it when it's bright or dark.
Exposure,
could be,
This is, I didn't bring the a camera to Los Angeles. I wanted to just force myself to use. And this is an example of, boy, this would have been a great shot had I have a good camera and I could have zoomed in on the light standards in the moon. However, I have to say, for a camera in the dark, this is pretty impressive.
Oh, I've had a lot of shots over the last few days that I could not have taken with my 5S, which was my last phone.
Yeah.
And now really dark, still detail, still something to see in the picture. So alone that is a pretty good change.
Yeah, it's really fun.